Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our live Fall 2020 Career Readiness Workshop Series. Today, we're going to talk about professional conference and career fair preparation. My name is Jacqueline Aguayo. I also go by Jackie. I am the event coordinator for the Career Center. I'll have my fellow colleagues present themselves.
Hi, and I'm Denise Perez Flores. I'm one of the the career counselors from the Career Center.
Hello, John Paul Hernandez. I'm the Employer Relations Specialist for the Career Center.
Thank you, John and Denise. I will go ahead and keep moving forward. Today for our workshop overview, we're going to be talking about the professional conference and career fair preparation, and this should help you enhance your understanding of a career fair / conference and its purpose. In this workshop, you will learn the following, which is research employers and best prepare to attend one of these events, effectively communicate your skills and accomplishments and goals, and how to follow up with employers and professionals in your field of interest. And this is the agenda an agenda run through that we're going to be talking about in today's webinar. So preparing for virtual fairs and conferences during the event, how to maximize your time, develop an elevator pitch, leaving a good impression, and how to follow up after the event. And we're going to have a Q&A session after.
Great. Thank you so much, Jackie. So hello, everyone. John Paul here. Want to start off by introducing you to our new platform for virtual events, which you register for in Handshake. A good example of that would be to walk you through how to register for the next virtual career fair. So we have one going on Thursday, October 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will send out this PowerPoint following the presentation today. So you'll actually have the link you can actually click on and register today for the career fair. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you what it looks like from your student point of view on how to actually register for the event. So let me go ahead and share my screen now. How does that look, Jackie? Can you see everything okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So once you log into Handshake through your MyCoyote portal, you're going to want to go over here to Events. Click on that. And then up here, you'll have a choice of type of event. You're going to click on Career Fair. And then you'll see here the Fall 2020 Virtual Career Fair. Choose that. And then here, you'll be able to actually register for the event. This example we're using already, you'll see that this student is registered. Here, you'll actually click it to actually register for the event. You'll find out details about what to expect for the virtual career fair. There's several links to videos, so there will be no surprises. And the great thing is you're attending today's event, so we're actually going to walk you through some of the tips and tricks and everything you need to know for this fair, as well as any other virtual fair or event that you might do. Another important button here is the available sessions. Here you can actually read and learn about each employer or graduate school that's actually participating. And underneath each description, you actually see the sessions that they're promoting. So there's two types of sessions. We're going to go through that in the PowerPoint here as well. But there's a group sessions and individual sessions. And here it's as simple as clicking on which session you want to attend, and you are registered and RSVP'd for that event. So you can do this before the 22nd, and then on the 22nd, when you log into Handshake, you will have your schedule already built out, and you're simply clicking on each virtual session that you're attending, and it's as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, go back to the PowerPoint. Perfect. So we went over how to register in Handshake for the event. Coming up next, what you want to do is review the list of employers and research the companies. Great thing about events in Handshake, the links to the company's websites are actually there. So you can start there. It's a good opportunity. You can review the open job opportunities for each company. Each virtual booth there in Handshake will actually have a list of jobs. If they've post that job in Handshake, you can actually apply before the event. And then you can go ahead and start doing items such as targeting your resume to apply for certain jobs you're interested in. And then, of course, connecting with the recruiters on LinkedIn and following the companies. So one way to keep organized during the event is going ahead and creating a folder on your desktop. Great thing about virtual events, you can kind of have a cheat sheet there for you. So that way there's really no, you're really well prepared. You can save your resumes that you want to share, and you're not stumbling to kind of find the answers that you're looking for, especially since it's a timed event. So here you can save folders by the job ID, job titles, save your resumes. You can go ahead and prioritize them by the employers that you're most interested in. And then employers will actually be signing up for the event leading up to the day before. So you want to go ahead and constantly be checking that Handshake site for any updates and new sessions you can apply for. Next slide, please. So I was kind of describing earlier, there's two types of sessions to attend, and this is the way you actually connect with the employer. So they're both virtual. The first one's a group session, and this is up to 50 people. So it's still an intimate setting. The presenter, the recruiter, hiring manager will have a PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes they're on camera, sometimes it's just audio. And they'll go ahead and present to you a little bit about the employer, about the opportunities that they have, and it runs about 30 minutes. You'll have a chance for Q&A. And the great thing about that, you can prep before the Q&A, have your questions ready and typed out, so you can cut and paste into the chat during the session. And then another way to connect is the one-on-one session. So these are run about 10 minutes, and think of this as a one-on-one interview. So this, you can either be on camera, you can either have a professional picture up, or you can have just your name on there and actually do this by chat or audio. So this I recommend for anyone that's really interested and wants to really brand themselves and make it personal. Sign up for those one-on-one sessions. If you're not quite there yet, you just want to find out more general information, the group session is probably where you want to go. So during the event, you want to maximize your time. The great thing about that Handshake platform, you can go ahead and set your schedule well before the 22nd, so you know you're taking advantage of every session that you're interested in between 11 and 2 p.m. Some things to keep in mind, some tips. You want to keep this professional. If you're going to be on camera, at least from what's visible on camera, have at least, I say a bare minimum, maybe a shirt with a collar. You can go suit and tie if you like, but I think just business casual is probably a good place to be. You want to go ahead and be polite. Go ahead and make sure that you're muted. If you don't have a professional setting, I would prefer that you just have maybe a picture or nothing up. And make sure you're aware of what your background looks like too. You want a professional background. If you're in a bedroom and there's a lot of distractions behind you, hopefully you can use a virtual background such as myself. If you're not able to do that, maybe you can find a place in your home or office where you have kind of a minimal background distractions behind you. So preparing your responses and questions in advance, like I said, you can kind of have a cheat sheet going into these events now. You can type out your introduction, and we're going to go ahead and help you out with that by speaking about the elevator pitch later in this presentation. You can go ahead and let the recruiter know what your current status is. So it'd be something such as, hello, state your name, and then let them know where you're at in your degree program, what degree program you're in, and what your potential graduation year is. Again, you're going to go into the elevator pitch and then have an idea of some short accomplishment stories that you've had, some success stories that you've had in school that may be good examples in place of work experience as well. And then any general closing comments for your chats, maybe sharing your LinkedIn link if you do have something like that available. So here you'll have some sample questions to use for recruiters. Great thing about this, we're going to share this presentation with you following this event today, and you can go ahead and totally take these, cut and paste, and just tailor them to yourselves. You can let them know about positions that you've applied for. You want to write down the job ID numbers, let them know why, or ask them why they choose to work where they're at, what's made them successful. Ask them questions about organization culture. Just anything that really is not a yes or no answer, but really gets them to speak and show that you're engaged.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jackie. So I'm going to start off here with talking about the elevator pitch. Let me turn my camera on for you. All right. So you may have heard this. Make sure you have an elevator pitch, and you might wonder, what is that? And you see this picture here of these people in an elevator. And if you think about an elevator ride, in which some of us may have not been in an elevator recently because of what's going on in the world, but in an elevator you might have 30 seconds, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on what building you're in and how much time you may have in that elevator ride. But you'll have this very brief moment in time to make that impression. And the impression is going to be the thing that either gets someone interested or makes someone not interested. And you only get this one chance potentially. And so when it comes to these fairs, when it comes to these events where there is employers involved, you're going to want to make sure that you have that pitch that you're going to speak to the employers with when it comes time. And so we want to prepare this beforehand. Next slide. And so it's like a commercial. So what are you selling? What is it about you that you're marketing? And John touched on a couple of things, but it's essentially going to communicate who you are, what you have to offer, and at the end of it, why should they hire you? What is it about you that's going to make them hire you? And so next slide. There's a couple things to think about when you are considering, creating that pitch. First and foremost, know your audience. Who are you talking to? Now, sometimes you may come across situations where you may not know who that person is. Maybe you go to an event, you're not sure who you're talking to, but you should always have it ready regardless, especially if it has to do with a career field you're interested in or a professional event where there may be career professionals there. But it's good to know, who your audience is. And so, like John mentioned, you can go into Handshake before the fair that we have coming up, and you can research the companies to know, who works there. Are there contact names for these individuals who will be at the fair that we're going to be hosting, or any event in the future? And if you know that information, then you can do further research to find out more information to even help you to expand on gathering what you need to then create the pitch, and also to then continue a conversation that could potentially maybe even lead to an interview. And so you want to find out who they are and how that is relevant to you. So who are they? What positions do they have to offer? And how does that tie into your background and what you're looking for? Also, thinking about what are your key strengths? What are some positive qualities? What are some experiences that you have from your background? And how do they tie into the position or the company? And then also thinking about, why are you interested in working for a certain company? It's very important to know that piece. The more information you know about them and about yourself that you're going into the conversation with, the more confident you're going to feel about what you're going to share and how that outcome may come out for you in a positive way. Next slide. So one other thing that I'll mention about elevator pitch and you as a product. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say, well, everyone's a product, but I think about marketing, I think about selling, I think about products that we purchase on a daily basis. I use the comparison of Coke versus Pepsi. Those are usually competing brands, they might taste similar, but they're competing essentially. Do you prefer the Coke or the Pepsi? You have to figure out what your brand is. Who are you? If you're not the Coke or the Pepsi brand, what is your brand? So knowing what goes into what makes up your brand is really important. And the things that I kind of mentioned in the previous two slides is kind of what is comprised of. And I'll show you an example of what an elevator pitch looks like. So here is an example. We do have a couple resources that we can share with you when we contact you after the presentation to give you one handout that we have is more information about elevator pitch, about networking, and then the other part of the handout is for you to use to create your elevator pitch. It's a worksheet that you can use. And so I'm just going to read this as an example, and you could be potentially saying this to an employer, or this could be your response in a chat to an employer. Hi, my name is Cody Coyote, and I have always had a passion for the cybersecurity industry. This was my drive for pursuing a degree in informational systems and technology with a concentration in cybersecurity. I'm particularly interested in the part-time internship at your company, which I recently applied to. I am an sorry, I am achievement and detail oriented. I also work extremely well in a team environment, and I have been a team leader on several of my class projects. I am familiar with the latest technologies such as Java and using Creative Cloud. I believe I would be a great fit for your internship or job. What advice would you give me regarding what it takes to be successful in the field? Now, obviously, that's not me talking, but that's not necessarily how you would sound, but that's kind of those are the ingredients or the parts of your elevator pitch that would go in here. So if you really think about this, if you break this apart, this example touches on, okay, obviously they said who they were, their name. They talked about that they mentioned they had a passion for cybersecurity industry. So they have like that focus point. And then they talk about their degree here, the degree that they're pursuing. And if they had already completed that, they would say, I completed my degree at Cal State San Bernardino. So you can mention that as well. It touches on some interest. It touches on the fact that they applied for a position at the company. And it gave a couple skill sets and a little bit of background information on something they may have done in their class. And so through that, the employer can gather a lot of information that can be helpful for them to use to make decisions on if they want to maybe interview this person, if they want to offer them an opportunity to meet again, if they, depending on how the conversation goes, the outcome hopefully is a positive one. Next slide. I'm definitely not going to read this because like I said, this is not my pitch, so it sounded very scripted, and I think that's something to point out. You can create your script, you can create this pitch, but it should sound authentic. And if it is about you, then it will sound authentic. And so you want to make sure that when you are creating this, that you can practice it, but also make sure that you are going to be speaking about this in a very conversational way. And so when you're saying your pitch, it should sound like it's something that, like your birthday, your address, your name. Those things might fly out of your mouth very naturally. So when you speak about your background and what you are looking for, that should come out of your mouth in a similar fashion. I think that's a good kind of way to think about it. And so it shouldn't sound scripted like how I sounded in the previous example, but it should look something like this. Next slide. And so not only do you want to have that good impression up front with the elevator pitch, you also want to make sure that you leave a good impression in the follow-up process. So you go to the event, you prepared for the event, you go to the event, you made some great connections, you did your elevator pitch, and now you're wanting to make sure that you continue that relationship that you're building, that conversation that you started through a follow-up process. That can be through an email, emailing within 48 hours within that time frame since you met them. So if you go to the fair, then you'll want to follow up with them within 2 days at the most. I would say within 24 hours is probably the best way to go because you're already fresh in their mind. So you want to make sure that you can keep yourself fresh in their mind by sending that thank you email. And then you want to connect through LinkedIn. Make sure that your LinkedIn account is up to date and ready and prepared for viewing. So make sure you have everything up to date, you have everything in place so that when the employers view your account and see who you are, that they will and that it actually captures your background and your skills like you mentioned in your elevator pitch or in your conversation. So you'll want to send a LinkedIn request, and then also you can follow up on your application that you submit within 1 to 2 weeks after the fair or conference.
Great. So a lot of information we gave you all today. This is a little summary of kind of what those best practices look like. We want to go ahead and turn this fair into a job offer. So what does that look like? These are more for you to review after this presentation. However, I do want to highlight some of the more important ones. Number one, check out that career section of each company that you're interested in. So just like in that handshake example I showed you, there's a blurb on each company. You can see the jobs they have, what they're all about, and know that before you're actually going into the event. Going ahead and writing out your introduction before, just as Denise was stating, it is scripted because you are typing up a script. Great to practice that way, but when you go ahead and present that information, you want to make it sound very conversational. One of the other important things to know is you do not want to ask any questions that can easily be researched yourself. So one of the rules going in are not asking, do you have any jobs in my area, or what do you do here, or what are you about? You want to show that you've actually done some research and give them the respect of that. And so do not ask those type of questions. Go ahead and research that yourself. So you're coming in and saying more specific questions about a job maybe you applied for, or a career opportunity at that company. And then again, making sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date before you share that information or before you connect with any recruiters. So today we did bring up the point that, hey, it'd be great to go ahead and connect on LinkedIn and go ahead and start doing that. Before you take that step, make sure that you actually update your LinkedIn. And of course, you can always make an appointment with our Career Center team and have that reviewed as well. Next slide, please. And then here, Denise is going to go ahead and give you some updates on counseling appointments.
So the Career Center is virtual right now, and so we are offering appointments through Zoom and through the phone. And you can make an appointment by going into your My Coyote account, employment opportunities, and then clicking on the icon that's pictured there in the middle, the yellow icon. That is our handshake icon that will take you into Handshake, where John was at earlier showing you the platform for the events. And when you get into that system, then you'll have a dashboard, and you'll see at the right-hand corner it says Career Center, and then you click on that, and that will take you into the appointment system. If you need help with this, you can always call our office, and we will give you that information towards the end of the presentation. You can also send us an email. And if you look at the list here, these are just a few of the items or a few of the topics that you can get help with during your appointment. So if there's something else that's not on here, but you think it might tie into your career or education, that you are wanting help with, then just go ahead and let us know, and we can always have that conversation and decide how to best support you. We also offer drop-in services, and those are also through Zoom. We don't do phone drop-ins, just through Zoom. And so during the drop-ins, you can meet with a peer career educator, which can assist you with resume or cover letter reviews, and then questions about Handshake, and then some of our, and of course our Career Center services and resources. And then we also usually have one career counselor on during your drop-in time that can assist you with brief questions related to your career and education, and that can always, of course, lead to you making an appointment with us. We, right now for the fall, have Wednesday and Thursday drop-ins from 2 to 4, and the Zoom link is there, and as well as the meeting ID. And you can find this information on our website. One last thing here I'll mention is that we have resume and cover letter reviews available, or resume and cover letter review services available through email, and you can contact the Career Center at careercenter@csusb.edu to have your resume or cover letter reviewed by one of our peer career educators. It usually takes about 2 to 3 days after submission is when you'll receive a response, and with the suggestions and the advisement from our center.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, John. Next, I do want to encourage, definitely keep asking questions in our Q&A chat function. We will be answering questions towards the end, but right before we get to the questions, I want to share that this week on October 15th, we're going to be having a virtual career fair preparation webinar, similar to this one, but we're going to dive in a little deeper to what to expect for the fall 2020 virtual career fair. And if you have any specific questions about that virtual career fair, please go ahead and put them in the chat, or you're more than welcome to also attend to this webinar as well. The Zoom ID is on the screen, and it will be this Thursday, October 15th from 4 p.m. to 4:45. And then here is the information for the Fall 2020 Virtual Career Fair. Um, this is the one that we've been planning, and pretty much since the world is virtual right now, we've been planning new ways to help our students prepare for job search and connect with employers virtually. And so again, how John showed on Handshake, if you need another recap, we're going to go over how to register for the group sessions and one-on-one sessions with the employers on our this Thursday's webinar. And then here's the date for the virtual career fair. It's going to be Thursday, October 22nd, and you can register through your Handshake account, and it would be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then here is the dates for the career readiness workshops. All of these workshops are hosted by one of our career counselors. So the next one that we have is October 20th, interview strategies and the big interview. October 27th is the resume, cover letter, and more. November 3rd is the social media do's and don'ts plus networking. November 10th is job search. November 17th, what's next after graduation. And then our last career readiness workshop will be December 1st about career management. So you can register for these on Handshake, and it'll be a virtual webinar as well. And the Zoom ID is on the top. And all of these webinars are hosted on Tuesdays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And then next, we have also our internship workshop series. Again, the Zoom ID is on the top, and these are hosted on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we actually have one going on tomorrow, October 14th. And again, the time's going to be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And tomorrow's workshop is going to be about virtual internships. So even though the world is virtual right now, there's still opportunities going on, such as internships and, of course, job opportunities. It's just that we have to dive in a little deeper and find out where or how to even get those opportunities. So October 14th, tomorrow, virtual internships. October 21st, how to intern abroad. And November 11th, it'll be the internship search workshop. And then now we're going to go ahead and open the floor up for questions. So if you have any questions that come in, please go ahead and add them to the Q&A chat function. And let's see here. I think there was a lot of students, more than anything, logging in their ID numbers so they can get checked in. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat function, and we'll be more than glad to answer them.
So we have plenty of time. There's still 30 minutes we have for this webinar. If there's any questions, go ahead and type those out. I'm not sure. I don't think they can actually unmute themselves, so you'll have to type it. I'd like to know how many people are actually registered or planning to attend the career fair. Maybe you can put that in the chat there if we can all see that.
Yeah, you can also leave us some comments.
Yeah, question could be a comment. It could be, hey, I'd like to, can you elaborate more on a certain subject that we touched on today?
Also, I thought we had a slide in there about our career center, our office, our services, and it might be in there, but I'll just put in the chat and I'll say it out loud too. That are, oh, there it is.
Yes. So here's our
It was like, I think it
information.
was on there.
Yes, no. Yeah, here's our information for our department. Of course, we are right now virtually, so you can give us a call. You can also send us an email to our main Career Center email. We also have Palm Desert services for our Palm Desert students, but right now, since we're done virtually, it's pretty much done all together, so you can email either or.
Awesome. I see a question there about MBA internship opportunities. The answer is yes. I can't say who it was off the top of my head, but I did see an employer have several internship opportunities. Most of these are paid as well. So a good way to find out which ones have those, go ahead and register and check out the different employer virtual booths, and it'll let you know what positions they have. So there will be MBA internship opportunities. And it looks like, too, we can unmute any attendee. So if you want to ask a live question, just let us know, and we'll unmute you.
And then I also want to elaborate a little bit more. Maybe Denise, you can help me on elaborating this. But if you secure an unpaid internship, I believe you can qualify for what is it? The one that Lupe has, Denise,
Yeah,
for
we
the
have yeah, we have 2 internship award
of the
opportunities.
internship
So
awards.
each one is worth each one you can be awarded approximately $1,000. At least that's the award uh, amount right now for the fall. There are quite a few qualifications that you would have to meet in order to apply and receive the award. And then they can find, of course, we can, if we want, we can show them our website just so we can point that out to them. So they can see where the information's at so they can read it. You want to unshare your screen so I can go and share mine?
Of course.
Oh, but I think it's a good point to bring up because I know that sometimes students might not pursue something such as an internship if it's unpaid, but this is really good information to know. And they'll probably learn about that too if they go to the internship workshop tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll be facilitated by our internship specialist. So any questions about internship, she would be able to dive a little bit deeper than us.
So here is the internship page. And then through that page, you can go to the bottom and it'll say internship awards or right here as well. So let me just go down here. So you can even learn about what are the benefits of an internship. There's some information about searching and applying. And then right here is the internship awards. So we have the Career Center Internship Award, and the dates are already up there. So we have the fall semester, of course. This window is already closed, but spring semester, let's say you do get an internship offer, you could potentially apply for the internship award for this time period here. And I think they're probably both open. Let me just double check this one here. Yep, right here. And like I said, there's criteria here. So you must be, so for this one here, it's the Career Center Internship Award, you must be enrolled in an internship course. You must have secured an unpaid internship with a municipal, government, or nonprofit organization. Of course, there is a GPA requirement of 2.5 for undergraduate, 3.0 for graduate. You will not, let's see, if you have to make sure that you're not receiving any other funding for the internship, because if you are, then you're not going to be eligible. There has to be an assigned supervisor for the internship, and there has to be also an assigned faculty supervisor, which is who you'll have if you have the internship course. And of course, there are assignments. When it says complete all Career Center assignments, that just means that there are certain, like a list of items you need to complete, such as like a timesheet. You will have to meet with a career counselor to go over a number of questions. It sounds kind of like an interview, but it's more so for us to gather information about you and your experience and your goals and your plans. But there's a couple other items that you'll need to complete. And then down here, this one's a little different. This one actually has 2 parts in it that are, or one part in it that's a little different. So it's still an unpaid internship with a municipal, government, or nonprofit organization, but it will have to be in the city of San Bernardino or the Coachella Valley. I believe that's the only other 2 things. I think everything else is the same. Yeah. And here's some pictures of some past award recipients and where they did their internships at, which is kind of cool, I think, to kind of see what other students have done. And if you want to see some testimonials, there's some videos there too.
So we had a really good question here about what if a student's major doesn't apply to the employers at the career fair? So it's a great question because we hear that a lot. You'll log into the career fair, you'll look at the employer names, you'll look at some of the jobs they're looking to recruit for, and you're just like, you know what, none of this interests me or just doesn't match me. It's disappointing. I'm out. One thing to remember, give you a little bit behind the scenes with these employers and the recruiters. When they sign up for career fairs or information sessions, they're usually there to focus on a tailored position for college grads or soon to be college grads. So think like management trainee positions or paid internships, entry-level jobs, which is great because, I mean, that does meet a wide range of students. However, you'll never see, entry-level HR position or maybe certain types of accounting positions, things that are someone that has a little bit of experience, but that you might very well be actually able to apply now for. You have to look at the career fair as a networking opportunity at that point. So what I always recommend is if you don't see anything there, low hanging fruit that actually says, hey, that's a job I want to apply for, go to each of those companies' websites, look at their career page, find a position that does interest you, go ahead and apply if you can, attend that session, attend that one-on-one, and speak to that recruiter and let them know, hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out to our school and sharing your positions. I myself am actually interested in this position. Give them the job ID. Are you able to connect me with the proper recruiter? Can I forward my resume to you and you can pass it along? That's super appropriate to do, highly recommended. Remember, each of these companies that are participating, we have a contact. We have a recruiter contact. So even if that recruiter can't help you out, we can. So you can always reach out to the Career Center and let them know, hey, there is a position at Oracle that I'm interested in. However, they're not promoting that at the career fair. Sign up to meet with the recruiter and then email us that job and resume so the employer relations can follow up. So that's a great question. I do want to give you kind of a little bit of a highlight of who are some of the big names at this fair, so you can kind of think outside the box that way. Toyota, Oracle, Southern California Edison, just to name a few. We have multiple graduate schools also. So if you're not looking to go right into employment, you're looking to go to a grad school, there's something there for you as well. So again, you'll find out more about that Thursday's webinar if interested.
And then I also want to mention that I added the links for all of the events that were shown in this presentation. So the very first link that you're going to see in the chat that I shared is going to be the one that I'm sharing on the screen right now, which is the Virtual Career for Preparation webinar. And just as a reminder, this is going to be this Thursday. John already gave a couple of sneak peeks of some of the employers that are going to be attending, but in this webinar, we'll be able to dive in a little bit more of the specific employers are going to be attending as well. The second link that I shared there is going to be for the virtual career fair, which is going to be this one. The link they should be able to take you directly to the registration page, and you actually have the opportunity to see what companies and what employers are going to be participating for this virtual career fair. And then the next link is going to be for the career readiness workshops, and it's going to take you to all of the dates that are currently available for the presentations for the career readiness. And again, these are hosted by our career center counselors. And then the last link they're provided is for the internship workshop series. And if you have more questions about internships, there's going to be the virtual internship workshop for tomorrow at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you have any questions, I need to see anything, just let us know. And with that, I believe that concludes our presentation. And thank you everyone for attending. Thank you for participating as well.
Thank you.